This is Anthony Michael Hall, Tommy Doyle from Halloween Kills.
Hi, this is James Jude Courtney, Michael Myers from Halloween 2018.
And you're listening to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
And you're listening to Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Stay tuned.
My grandmother was right. The boogeyman was real.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is the Don't Go Out There live reaction show to the Halloween Ends trailer that just dropped. I don't have the luscious intro that Nico normally does for our normal podcast, but for some reason we kind of let me point guard these live reaction shows, and I'm excited to do that. It's right in my wheelhouse as far as the other podcasting that I've done. Fellas, welcome. Just real quick, a rundown. We've got Brother Dustin, which you're all familiar with, Brother Nico, of course, luscious voice, and we got our good friend of the show and now part of our team, Mr. Kevin Scanlon. Kevin, introduce yourself real quick, buddy.
What's up, guys? Kevin. I've been watching horror pretty much all my life, and stumbled across this show back in late December, early January, and can't get enough of it. And obviously they liked me enough to bring me on here, so happy to be here.
Yeah, something really cool that Kevin does, if you follow us on Twitter at all, is kind of break down our show by stats, and it's just been really cool to see him be able to do that, because I could never and would never. So I'm just glad that someone's smart enough and had the wherewithal to be able to do that for us. Fellas, I'm excited to be here. Halloween Ends trailer was supposed to drop today because we have people that can't wait 6 hours. We got to drop it the night before. Universal had to get out in front of it because it leaked again, second year in a row. This time only a few hours. Last year, it leaked a whole week beforehand for Halloween Kills, because, Halloween fans are impatient, I guess, which is ridiculous. But, fellas, I'm just going to start in the order that I see on my screen. Just your initial thoughts on this trilogy so far, and then we're going to get to the trailer reaction. I'm going to start with Brother Dustin. Dustin, your initial thoughts on the first two films and how you think this trilogy has gone so far.
Yeah, so Halloween 2018... loved it. Like it's a great addition. It's a great follow-up to 1978 Halloween. I wasn't a part of the show when you guys reviewed that one, but I really liked it, and it does a good job of wiping away the bad taste that so many entries in this franchise has done, and just starting new or starting fresh with a sequel. Last year, when they came out with Halloween Kills, I wasn't on the show. I didn't make the episode when we recorded it. But I remember being disappointed. It was a lot of great kills. Like the optics of the violence was phenomenal, but it was just killing for the sake of killing with no real substance to the storyline. Left a lot to be desired as far as what I wanted. But that being said, it was still a much more enjoyable movie than so many Halloween movies have been. So to this point, going into this one, I'm going to watch it and I'm probably going to enjoy it. Pre-trailer didn't really have high expectations, and we'll get into post-trailer once we get going a little bit more.
Nico, your thoughts on the trilogy thus far? I think you've been probably the most critical of every one of our co-hosts, and that's not a bad thing.
Well, heck, I gave Halloween 2018 a 9.25, and I ranked it as my favorite in the franchise, but I'm a big fan of 2018. It grew on me the more I watched it. We all had our qualms with it, but I wasn't the biggest Halloween Michael Myers fan like Mike was when we started this show, but because I've always just craved and wanted a really vicious, good performance of Michael Myers that I just felt like we haven't gotten. And James Jude Courtney he's what I wanted in Michael Myers, honestly. Loved 2018. Really enjoyed it. Halloween Kills, I agree with Dustin. It was a little bit of a letdown, even though I am higher on it than he was. I think I gave it 8.25 on our show.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.25.
So I was a lot higher then.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. So, Dustin,
But-
you've been the most critical. My bad.
Dustin's always the most critical.
That's all right. That's his job. He plays his
Exactly.
role, my man.
Professional hater.
It's all good.
Line stepper.
I feel like James Hugh Courtney honestly carried Halloween Kills. If we would have got another like Chris Duran kind of performance of Michael Myers from like H2O in that movie, that might have been one of my least favorite Halloween movies, honestly, of all time. Just because, I mean, no offense to Chris Duran, it's just I just didn't think he was a very good Michael Myers. And James Hugh Courtney, I mean, we're all three of us are Florida State fans. He Dalvin Cooked that movie, he carried it and he saved it from being a total loss. And I'm like Dustin, I'll touch on post trailer once we get to post trailer thoughts.
Kevin, you're a big Halloween fan. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they basically covered it because I feel the same way. 2018 was a hell of an entry coming off of the previous films, and James Jude Courtney, he's second to none. There isn't a better shape out there. But Halloween Kills, I thought was weak. I think my expectations for it were pretty damn high, and it let me down big time. But I mean, when I watched it the second time, like they said, James Jude Courtney basically saved that movie. I think I would have probably given it like a 5 if I was rating it. But after, just looking at it from just purely a Michael Myers standpoint, I probably would have given it right around a 6.25, 6.5. So same thing. I'll save my trailer thoughts for after we cover that.
Yeah, really quick, I'm a big fan of 2018. I think everyone knows that. I rated it highly as well. Probably my second favorite movie in the franchise. I've given my thoughts on that a million times. I mean, I had some problems with the comedy, but overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good Halloween film. Kills, I liked a little more than you guys, I think, but just because of the kills. I love that way that movie was shot. I love the music, the mood, the atmosphere that I always talk about. That movie had that. But plot-wise, I agree with you guys. It was just a little all over the place. I feel like they tried to shove and cram like 3 movies into one movie instead of just letting a narrative kind of play out the way I would have done. So I didn't agree with you guys. I feel like the first one set the bar so high, then you get to that next one and you're kind of let down a little bit. I'm really interested in this third installment. It's the final installment in this trilogy. I think we can all agree this is not the last Michael Myers movie. There's too much money to be made. The money train will always roll on, but this is definitely David Gordon Green and them's last thing. So guys, so the trailer dropped last night. I saw it really late, like everyone else, because again, Halloween fans were impatient. So you guys have all seen it now. We've all seen it. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it real quick, come back, then join our discussion. I'm going to start with, again, the order I see on my screen. So Dustin, just your initial quick thoughts, reaction on what you saw in this. This is more of a teaser trailer. I'm not sure this is the official trailer that we're going to get here in about a month and a half, but this is definitely the first look that we've seen at Halloween Ends.
Yeah, you're right, because I mean, this one's only like a minute 20 seconds or something like that. So I expect the official one to be at least double that. But my initial thoughts was it looks like the last Halloween movie, Halloween Kills, Laurie's laid up in a hospital most of the time, and we don't get much Laurie-Michael interaction. From this, at least, it looks like that's the majority of the film. So hell yeah. That's what I want. I mean, that's what this boils down to, right? That's what Halloween's supposed to be. But it looks like it looks like it's gonna. I was already pissed off though. How you waiting for him to walk into the room, pointing a gun at him, and then there's more after that. What the fuck you doing? But but like I said, you get. It shows that he does have interactions with other characters. So the kill count I expect to be. I think there's 31 kills in Halloween Kills. I expect there to be more than that in this one, to be honest with you. If it's Halloween Ends, you got to go out with a bang. So introducing these secondary characters in minute and 20 that we got to see, it looks like there's going to be plenty of kills. So I'm excited for that. And then all signs point to us finally getting a send-off for at least one of these characters.
Fair enough. Nico, go ahead.
All right. Before I go, I just want to say thank you to the Randy, Sean, Heather, and Edwin for commenting. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in. initial thoughts. I mean, it was only a minute and 15, 20 seconds, like Dustin said. So there's not a lot of thoughts really for me right now. But I will agree with Dustin. It's like I'm excited to see Jamie Lee Curtis in the movie a lot more instead of just gimped up in a hospital bed. I'm going to miss Judy Greer, honestly, a little bit because I did like her. I thought she was great as the scorned daughter trying to figure out her way with her mother who, she just didn't know how to react to this life. But I have not read any. We did a Halloween Kills trailer reaction as well, and I think me, Brian, Dustin, were you a part of that one?
CTE.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I know
did,
that.
yeah.
I know that me, Brian, and Mike, I believe, read.
I think I
spoilers.
was.
Okay, yeah. Well, this year I have not read any spoilers for Halloween Ends. I'm going to go into it completely blind. The only spoiler-y thing I saw was whenever Dustin tweeted us texted us the link to the trailer dropping early. The only thing I saw was copycat, and then after reading the synopsis, I see what they're talking about now. So I mean, you obviously noticed that when Michael was going into Jamie Lee Curtis's room, that he's got all of his fingers back, so it can't be James Hugh Courtney unless he can grow his hand back now. But
he can drive.
True.
Hey, Nico, save those thoughts. We're going to get into that in a little bit.
Yep.
Save those thoughts.
No problem.
Kevin, your initial trailer reaction to what we saw last night.
I mean, I don't think it gave away as much as Kills did.
Thank
but
God.
I still think it gave a little too much.
Okay.
Like, I didn't like getting all that fight scene between Jamie and Michael. Like, I just think I think that's something that they should have stowed, for later. Because honestly, I'm planning on avoiding the next trailers. This is the only one I'm going to watch. And so I'm planning on going into this blind too. I'm trying to avoid any spoilers for me, and I'm tempering my expectations based off this teaser. So
my thing with that is anytime they show you something in a teaser trailer, it's deliberate. So the reason I'm okay with them showing as much of the fighting as they did is because that must mean that it gets pretty fucking intense. So so I don't think they gave away anything by showing that much. So I think it was just to get us excited about their interactions. But I still have high hopes for that part of it.
So on the trailer itself, I think it's fine. I love the way it's shot. If there's one thing to me that this crew has gotten right, it's the look and the feel of these three movies. You may not like what happens in the movie, but these movies feel like like direct sequels to the 1978 film. And I think they've done a really good job. Even in this trailer, the way you get those long shots, those pan shots, I really like those. Like you guys said, there's not a whole lot to take away from the trailer itself, other than that we're going to get some Laurie Michael badassery, which I think we were all waiting for in Kills. But I think we're finally going to get some of it here. Look, this has a 4-year time jump, which we're going to get into. But I think it's pretty clear just by how Laurie Strode looks in this trailer and how she comes off in this trailer that she seems like a different character, which again we're going to get into. But as the trailer itself, pretty good, pretty solid. I love the shot of the house, walking up the steps. You hear that heavy breathing that we get from the original movie that I really like. I'm glad they included it back here. And so overall, it had me excited. Now, unlike you guys, I actually avoided a lot of spoilers for Kills because I had gotten so into Halloween 2018 and that lead up. And I know, we hadn't started the show yet, Nico, but me and you were going back and forth. Like, I was really invested in the 2018 movie. Like, I hung on every little thing that leaked out about that movie. And in Kills, I tempered my expectations. It got delayed a year. I just decided to avoid everything. I said, hell, we've already waited this long. What's another year? I'm just going to avoid everything I can. And I went into that movie pretty blind. This one, I'm not going in blind, but I'm not going in spoiled either. I've kind of dabbled here and there. And that's the kind of discussion I want to get into. But before we get there, we've all seen the poster. Just quick thoughts. Not anything crazy from that poster. I'll go first and I'll go to Dustin. I thought the poster was fine. It's probably my least favorite of the three that in this trilogy, but I do like that it just says ends really big. It doesn't even say the word Halloween, just ends. I like that stylistic choice. So go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, I like that too, because you don't need to do anything. So this is going to send me off on a side tangent. A lot of things in 2022 are going too minimalist. I don't know if you guys saw the Cleveland Cavaliers and Utah Jazz new NBA jerseys.
Yeah.
Minimalism is in right now, and when it works, and it's great. But sometimes you go overboard. This is a perfect example of when it works. You see Michael's mask, you know this is Halloween, and it's a good looking mask. You got the little fire remnants at the bottom there, and then ends this Halloween at the bottom. Like, I like the poster a lot. I get what you're saying about being your least favorite of the three, but I think this works really well.
So real quick, Nico, before you go, if you want to know that minimalism is in, look no further than the Instagram logo. Go back to the original Instagram logo. It's very detailed. It looks like a little camera, blah, blah, blah. Now it's just a square with some lines. Like it's so minimalism is definitely in. Go ahead, Nico. Thoughts on the poster?
The camera was better, respectfully.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
And the old YouTube logo.
Old YouTube logo was much better. Yep.
Poster thoughts, be short and sweet. I like it because I love the mask. I think it's the best mask of the entire franchise.
Yep.
Only thing I'll say is put my little tinfoil hat on. This is the third poster with just Michael on it, so I'm kind of have my thoughts on that and my hopes, honestly. But we'll touch on that more. But just to answer the question, I like it.
Somebody over there wants Lori to die. Anyway, go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin. Thoughts on the poster?
Yeah, I mean, I dig it. Like you, I do think it's probably the weakest of the three. But like you guys said, minimalism is in right now, and it does work in this situation. And it's by far the best mask. So
I don't know. Halloween 5 was pretty good.
All right. I'm moving on. You've made me move on. Don't do that to me.
No, I've just lost my train of thought. Move on.
Yeah. Okay. So really quick, I want to go over the synopsis that dropped. Everyone kind of got locked into the whole trailer thing where they didn't even realize that there was an actual synopsis that came out underneath that trailer. So I'm just going to read it real quick. Just bear with me. It's not that long. This is the official Halloween Ends synopsis from Universal. This is Laurie Strode's last stand. Heard that before. This upcoming slasher film, which serves as a direct sequel to 2021's Halloween Kills, will pick up 4 years after the events of Kills and 2018's Halloween, which both took place on the same night. Jamie Lee Curtis reprises her role from previous Halloween films as Laurie, who is now working on her memoir while living with her granddaughter, Allison. Michael Myers has not been seen since 2018. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. Okay, so really quick, there's a lot to unpack here, which kind of gets into my trailer thoughts, and we could go with some theories, but just quick thoughts if you want to go ahead and give just general overview on what you think that synopsis seems like. Do you like that plot? Do you like that direction? Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, I do like it, especially, and we'll get into some of the theories that I've read. So I like it. I like that they took some time. We're 4 years removed from the nights that the last movie took place. And then it does a good job. I like the introduction of another babysitter accidentally or being accused of killing the person they're watching. So I'm interested. I can't say that I think, oh my God, this is the best synopsis I've heard, but it's piqued my interest at least.
Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, I agree, Dustin. Sorry, cut out a little bit. But yeah, I agree, Dustin. It did pique my interest for sure after reading the synopsis because I wasn't smart enough to click underneath the trailer where the synopsis was. I couldn't even find it. Thanks, brother Mike. But, when we get into our theories, I'll kind of vent a little bit more with all this time jumping. And I got the same issue with Stranger Things as well. It's like you could have easily did this time jump, I feel like, in Halloween Kills. And there was a perfect opportunity to do it. This is just me thinking on it for the past hour or so. But anywho, I like the synopsis, and I like potentially – I need to see it first, Mike. Obviously you got to see it on the screen first, see if it works out well. But I am intrigued with it. I'll say that.
One thing before Kevin goes, Stranger Things is about to have no choice but to time jump because those kids look old as shit. Anyway, go ahead, Kevin.
I honestly, same thing. It does enough to pique my interest without, obviously spoiling anything. So I don't know. It's tough to say where exactly they're planning on going with this. Obviously, I've seen some theories with it, but some of the theories I've seen are just fucking out there. I don't even know where they come up with this shit half the time. But we'll get to that when we start talking about the theories.
Yeah, really quick. Just it piqued my interest as well. I've heard about this Corey character, but he wasn't listed on IMDb until this morning. So again, just kind of adding some layers about what we're actually going to see. But overall, I mean, it's pretty general. It's about what I expected, except for the Corey thing, which kind of gets me to a few quotes. A few months ago, I think it was May, John Carpenter said this movie was going to be weird and different, I believe is the words he used. Chris Nelson also, he's a screenwriter, says this movie is going to be very different, very unique. And if you go back to last November, Jamie Lee Curtis said this movie is going to piss a lot of people off. So we have all of that context, and given this synopsis, and we've seen the trailer now, let's get into a little bit of the discussion about what this movie is going to look like. What's going to happen in this movie? There's been some theories out there, so I just want to go ahead. Potential spoiler alert, I guess, if you don't want to know anything, and I mean anything about this movie, maybe this is the time for you to kind of shut off and join us at the end here in about maybe 15 more minutes. But just some general, what do you guys think? What's the theories that are out there? And we could just have an open discussion and dialogue. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah. So I think that this movie, this has to be literally the end. And when I say literally the end, I mean both Laurie and Michael have to die in this movie. And then what I've read is that one theory is that it's revealed that Laurie is the villain all along. All Michael wants to do, because he's, feeble-minded, scarred little boy, he just wants to go home, man. He's just been trying to get back to his home the whole time, and he's killing anyone that gets in his way. It's not that he's unnecessarily killing. He's killing people getting in his way and stopping him from going home. I don't know about that. But
that would be weak. That would be really weak. That's maybe the weakest theory I've read so far.
Yeah. And
it's plausible though, because Kills all he wanted to do is just go home.
Yeah. It's very plausible.
So it certainly looks like that may be the direction they're heading. Now, another thing is I think that what they showed us in this teaser trailer, I think it all happens in the first half of the movie. And I think that Michael's dead for the last half of the movie.
Seen that one as well.
And it's Laurie. And now something that I did read that is going to piss Mike off, just the analogy they used, is I saw the movie Christine floated around as an example.
I did too.
Of some this movie might take a supernatural twist. And I was like, oh God, Mike is gonna shit.
So Dustin, before you go there, I read the Christine analogy was more just like a comparison that David Gordon Green even made to John Carpenter. He's like, is this movie too Christine? When he gave the script to John Carpenter. And I think that's where this character, Corey Cunningham, comes in.
Okay.
I've seen Christine, unfortunately.
You're going to watch it again.
I know, but I've seen it, unfortunately. And if you remember, that one character basically is in love with the car, wants to become the car.
Yeah.
I'm kind of starting to put some pieces together that maybe that's what this Corey character wants to be, but with Michael Myers.
It could be. And then another theory is maybe if there's a Christine angle, maybe that explains how Michael learned how to drive. Maybe he wasn't actually driving. The car was just driving, driving itself around across the country. But regardless,
maybe somebody gave him lessons.
I think that this is my theory. I think that, like I said, Michael's dead by halfway through the movie. The last half of the movie is everybody trying to figure out what the hell happened. Where's Laurie? She's missing. And Laurie is maddened and insane now at this point. It's not that she's been bad all along, but she's driven to madness, and she goes on a rampage of her own. And this movie ends with a police standoff and her catching a bullet to the dome.
Go ahead, Nico.
All right. honestly, not to disappoint any fans, or I hope anyone doesn't feel like I didn't do my due diligence, but I haven't read many theories just because, like I mentioned earlier, I want to go into this movie not knowing as little as possible. Uh, so I'm going to go in vulnerable, open to whatever comes on my screen.
Ready
But,
to
you
get
know,
hurt again, Nico. Ready to get hurt
yeah.
again, buddy.
I mean, I got to meet James Jude Courtney a couple months ago. I asked him a question during his panel, and he said like his ending or his last scene. He didn't say the ending scene. He said his last scene that he did with Jamie Lee Curtis was very powerful, and the two hugged each other and cried. So there's no telling. I mean, obviously there's going to be a standoff because it shows in the or the little teaser trailer. But if I have heard the theory that Michael is dead rather early in the movie, I will hate that honestly, just because it's a fucking Halloween movie. It's Michael Myers. I want him through the whole movie. Like, and I don't know the Christine reference because Nico hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, no way.
Don't worry,
But,
I'll
I'm just going to touch on my little time jump real quick, and then I'll let Kevin go. I really feel like if you were planning on time jumping, you should have just done it after Michael escaped from the firefighters. Like, he gets out, kills all the firefighters, and goes into hiding. I feel like that's a perfect way to like make a time jump. You get rid of the evil dies tonight in the hospital, because I feel like most of us would agree the hospital stuff was the worst part of Halloween Kills.
Cut it.
Let Michael go into hiding. Lori heals up. But then again, if you do that, that's 30 minutes into the movie. So what do you do after that? So, I mean, I guess there's holes in that logic as well. But if you wanted a time jump, I feel like that would have been a great time to do it. Michael kills all the firemen, the cops, whatever, and he just goes into hiding. And then the mob or whatever forms and, you know, go from there maybe. But I don't know. The time jump kind of is what concerns me a lot.
Okay. Hey, and really quick, that time jump when they greenlit these two sequels was not part of the initial pitch. That happened only because of the COVID delay. So they kind of rewrote ends a pretty significant amount after after it was greenlit. So go ahead, Kevin.
One more thing, Kevin. Mike, I remember me and you and Brian and I think Dustin was there. I feel like Dustin dropped off of that reaction a little bit, maybe halfway through or something. He's a busy man. Nightlife man.
My CT was kicking my ass that night.
That's the only way he stays so rich. Got to stay busy.
That's right. But Mike, I really feel like I remember me, you, and Brian talking about that. If you have to change your movie on the fly, you really didn't have a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have the story fully fleshed out anyways. But go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Well, real quick, sorry. To go with what you said, Nico, about how if you do that, then you're 30 minutes in the movie, what do you do from there? Simple. You don't have two separate movies. You combine them into one storyline, and you don't waste our time, because I feel like that's what most of Halloween Kills was a waste of time.
Yeah. Hey,
so I get it from a monetary standpoint. No, they're not going to do that. But from an enjoyability and streamline the process, make it one movie. Kills and ends one movie.
Halloween Kills is definitely a middle movie.
Yes.
And I think maybe that movie may get a little better as you watch it as a trilogy, but as a standalone film, it's questionable. Go ahead, Kevin.
Kills is only bad because of the mob stuff, though. That's the only bad part. That's the only bad part of it.
Well, hell, they ripped off Halloween 4. I'm not getting into that again. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, honestly, the only like fan theory I came across that I really focused on was I think it was the Night Watch Zone on YouTube. I mean, I've really focused on this one because it would piss me off so much if this is the route they ended up taking. But the theory is that like everything from this movie prior was Michael's dreams, and he would basically be waking up in the psych ward.
I swear to
and
God,
that would lead up to the events of 78. So if they took that route, I would be done with this franchise. I would disown this franchise. That would be the absolute worst.
Kevin, I have a feeling if somebody did that, they'd go full Billy Madison on David Gordon Green and put dog shit on his porch.
100%.
The only way that's acceptable is if his guards in the psych ward are Lou Temple.
Oh,
okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Hey, what's the dish, Ishmael? What the fuck? Come on. So I've seen that theory as well. God, I hope they don't do that. Here's what I think, and I'm not even necessarily going to go over the theories. I'm going to combine a few, and this is just kind of what I think the movie may do. So obviously, Lori in the last film, which I know me and Nico really liked this part, where Hawkins is kind of telling Lori, it was never about you. None of this stuff that Michael has been thinking about for 40 years, it had nothing to do with you. He is pure and simply just evil. You're not that important. And she's lived her whole life thinking I've waited for him, he's waited for me, when that's just not the case. So that was a real reality shock to the system for Lori. And now her daughter's dead. She only has her, so much has happened. And I think she's decided to kind of let all of that free. Here's something I think they could go and do. And if you like it, you do. And if you don't, you don't. Some of the stuff we see in the trailer from what we think isn't Michael, and is this guy with all of his fingers, I think could easily be some kind of very strange therapy that Lori is working through. I could easily see that being some kind of replaying the events in her head, how I would have done it differently if I had another chance, all this other stuff. I've seen that theory that's pretty plausible to me, in the sense that the house isn't quite the Myers house. It's not quite the same, but it's Lori's new house, or it could be some kind of dramatization. I've seen that theory where, Lori's kind of playing it in some pseudo documentary. She's playing herself. Because if you look at Lori in some of those scenes, that's the same shirt from 1978, same pants. Her hair is very similar. So I could easily see her kind of cosplaying as herself, maybe to work through some therapy stuff or whatever. And maybe that's where this character Corey comes in. But we've kind of, given the Christine reference, where I think this character Corey could just be so obsessed with Michael Myers, so obsessed with his killings, that he takes it upon himself to dress up like Michael, to become Michael. And maybe that's some of the fights we see, and then, no one can find Michael and they think they've got Michael. And then when Corey dies, which I know we have the theory that Michael dies early, but I could see Michael not coming into this movie for about 45, 50 minutes and it being this Corey guy. And then they think, maybe they're role playing with him, trying to work through, and oh shit, the real Michael's here now. What the fuck? So there's a lot of layers they could go with that there. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, I was going to say that would actually. So when I was saying earlier about how if they show us something in the teaser trailer, it's deliberate. And so if they're showing us this, it must mean that something bigger is coming. That would make a lot of sense if what we saw in the teaser trailer wasn't even Michael. It was this Corey guy. So, sure.
Well, there's no way the guy with all of his fingers is Michael Myers. So something's up. So whether that be, like we said, cosplay or a dramatization of the events or something like that, there's no way that the guy that opens that door with all of his fingers, that's not Michael Myers. It can't be. And if it is, what the hell has happened? And that's not a flashback either. It doesn't look like any of the flashback footage we saw in Halloween Kills. So I'm just real curious about what is this movie trying to do? What is the movie trying to say? Go ahead, Nico.
All right, here's the most interesting part of the synopsis, Mike, to me. It's right at the very end. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Lori to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. So does that mean she's just been in 4 years just waiting to go back after Michael? Like she's been living with Allison. I think so. Does the violence just trigger this emotional trauma all over again for her? Like, I'm really curious to see how that works out. But with this Corey Cunningham person allegedly kills the child he's babysitting, and then Laurie Strode is triggered. Her 78 instincts kick in or something like that. Like that's really interesting, and that can either be really good or it can fall flat. And I'm also curious, like the end of Kills with the soliloquy she gave at the end about how Michael transcends and all that. Like, I'm really curious how they explain that. And I'm really curious. Maybe this shit's all in Laurie's head. Maybe that's the thing. Like,
that
you know what I'm saying?
That would piss me off. Not gonna lie, that would not be good.
Either way they go with it, like if it's just a dream or something going on with either of them, I hate that either way.
glad you mentioned that not rant, but the talk that Laurie gives at the end of Kills, because I think that's where this Corey character comes in. Whether Michael dies first and the evil that Michael has, Trent, just there's no, evil dies tonight. Evil never dies. Evil never dies. There's always evil. So whether that means Michael dies first, and because of his actions, you see people like this Corey character kind of obsess over that, and he, that's what he is. He's just evil reincarnated. Whether you get that or whether you get what I think, which is those two, I think I could see Michael dying early and almost those two working on their shit together. Like, okay, here's this Corey guy, and Allison wants to help him work through his, his shit. And Laurie plays along in this Michael Myers 1978 cosplay. Like, I could see that and that be part of the film. And that doesn't piss me off like some of the other stuff we've heard. That's interesting. At least it's different and unique and interesting. Now, I don't want Michael to die early. So maybe they kind of flip that where they help Corey work through it, because we see a curly-haired guy get thrown into the wall. I think that could be Corey with the real Michael Myers, maybe after he's kind of fixed his shit or, anything like that. So I'm very interested in what this main character that we don't have any idea about what his real role is going to do in this movie.
Just one more thing. Like I just read, it says Laurie finally confronts the evil she can't control once and for all. So I'm feeling like this violence that it goes on in the town, maybe it gives her bravery to go after Michael, to go find Michael, maybe go back. Because I'm really curious how they explain, like, Michael was in his house and he killed Judy Greer that night, like, and all the cops are right outside,
right?
And now he's gone for 4 years. So I mean, they're gonna have one hell of a script. Like, they're gonna have to have one hell of a reasoning that the cops didn't find Michael Myers when the place was basically surrounded.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just curious what they do with Laurie and going out and encountering this evil that she's finally brave enough to deal with or whatever.
Right. Really quick, and I'm gonna throw to Kevin. Man, it's the time jump makes it interesting because you don't even have to give some in-depth explanation as to what happens to Michael, but you kind of have to at least link the two movies together at some point. You got to link kills to ends. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but I'm intrigued. The trailer dropped. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I read the synopsis and I'm thinking, oh, so this is going to be weird and different, and this is going to piss people off. There is something up. And when you rewatch the trailer after reading this synopsis, some of it makes a little more sense. Go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, you know what I would honestly think would be hilarious is if they did like a you remember in Halloween 2 of Rob Zombies when Malcolm McDowell just became like the biggest asshole trying to make a buck or two. The economy sucks right now, so maybe Laurie just needs some money. Maybe this is all perpetrated by her. We don't know. But
maybe gas prices are so high that Michael has to ride around that white horse.
Or maybe, and God damn it, I forgot all about that. Son of a bitch. Hey, maybe, and this will make Nico happy. Maybe this is all one big put on by Dangertainment. At the very end, Busta Rhymes comes out and says, "Trick or treat, motherfucker."
Hell yeah. Okay, that's actually fuck everything I just said. I want Halloween Ends to bring back every interesting character of every Halloween movie ever into one film and just go out with a bang.
Well, that was
LL Cool J, Paul Rudd, all of them.
That was one of the movies. Make sense. Hey, that was one of the movies that got cut. If you read Taking Shape 2, that was actually one of the scripts that got cut. It's like it's very meta, so Nico would hate it, but they kind of get all the people to come back and watch the documentary on all these killings that took place, which I thought was really interesting. But anyway,
I want Michael Myers in the Multiverse of Madness. That's what I want. I know you guys don't get that, but that's what I want.
I don't understand the reference. Sorry.
I do. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin got it.
Yeah. So all right. So that's pretty much all I have. I'm interested because of the synopsis, And again, we've had so many people say this is going to be a different movie. This is going to be unlike any other Halloween movie. Well, I don't know how that could be possible because Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 exists. So
Halloween 3 exists.
I said Halloween 3 exists, which should not have Halloween in the title. But I'm very intrigued by what they're going to do here because it's got ends right in the title. So somebody got to die. Real quick fun question that I didn't send you guys on the rundown, just on the spot. Who dies? Laurie, Michael, or both? Go ahead, Dustin.
Both.
Nico?
I hope it's both, but I think it's just going to be Michael. I hope it's both, though.
Kevin?
I mean, I think it's both, but obviously the money grab is always there, so they can always find a way to bring Michael back. Laurie, as far as I'm concerned, Laurie's story's over.
Well, if they bring Michael back, I think it'll just be a reboot. Like, I don't think there's any continuation with this story. I know.
Can you Colt a Thorn, you know? You never know.
If they go the possession route, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. Those Colt of Thorn movies stink. Anyway. Well, that's not well.
Speaking of that.
Hey, thank you, Tyler Kane. We appreciate it. 4 is not a Colt of Thorn movie. I will stand by that. That's only 5 and 6. So 4 is a really, really good sequel.
I don't know who Tyler Kane is, but that's insane, dude.
I think 4 is probably better than Ends, depending on the mood I'm in, for sure. But 5 and 6, not even. Come on, Tyler. Come on, buddy. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in.
Shit show.
Hey, 5 is one of my least favorite movies I've ever watched.
Well, when he said that Rob Zombie's Halloween's better, I mean that motherfucker's spitting. So,
hey, Rob Zombie.
Dude, I gave Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 higher than Dustin, so I know he's capping.
I'm not talking about the second one. I'm not talking about the second one. I said Rob Zombie's Halloween, not Halloween's. The second one, yeah.
And I don't think that second one is I don't think the second one is as bad as everyone thinks, but it's fine. But Rob Zombie's first Halloween, I think, is pretty solid. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad.
Damn right it is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap this up. We've been on for about 40 minutes about a trailer, so I think that's a pretty good place to kind of cap this here. I'm just going to throw to everybody. Any other thoughts, Dustin? Any other thoughts you want to give about Halloween or really anything going on? I know we should tease this here, but me and you may have the action show coming at everyone either Sunday night or Monday night about the new movie Nope from Jordan Peele, which I'm really excited to go see in theaters on Sunday. But I know me and you may get on here and kind of chat about that. But anything else you want to throw out here to the fans that are watching? Thanks for everyone that tuned in, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm going to go see Nope this weekend just because it's getting to where like you can't open up Twitter without seeing people hype it up, even people that I didn't even know were into horror like that. So I'm going to check it out. But regardless, Halloween, I go into it with not the highest hopes in the world just because of how let down I was with Kills, but optimistic because it's going to be a top half of the franchise movie. There's no way it can be as bad as the bottom half of the franchise. So, it's going to be a decent, serviceable film. And based on this trailer and what I've read, yeah, sure, I'm in.
Go ahead, Nico.
All right. I'll be as quick as possible. I am excited just because I like going to see these movies in the theaters. It's fun. Always love getting to take the picture by the poster and post it on social media. It's fun. Excited to see James Jude Courtney one more time as Michael Myers. I think fans who are critical right now really need to put this in perspective. This is the last time you're ever going to see Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. So even if you don't like the movie, the direction this trilogy's gone, if you like the original, you need to pay your respects to her at least because she didn't have to do these movies. And
she's not the problem in any of the two movies. Not her acting anyway. She does a great job.
Yeah, so this is the end of the legend. So I would go see this movie in theaters just for that, honestly. But at the end of our Halloween Kills review, when we did our ratings, I said I was a little, I had my qualm, or I was nervous about this movie, and I tweeted last night after watching the trailer, I was scared that it's going to be a dud, and I hope I'm wrong because I know I've been critical of Halloween in the past and all that, but I think Mike knows now I'm a big fan of James Jude Courtney and his portrayal as Myers. I'm a bigger fan of 18 than most, so I hope this does put a nice cherry on top, and I hope it's good, and I hope I like it.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm always going to be excited for a Halloween film. Michael Myers has always been my favorite slasher villain. Um, Having said that, the expectations are definitely tempered because after Kills let me down the way it did, I'm going in kind of doubting this one. I'm hoping they don't let me down, but I guess we'll see. I do want to give some props to that costume department though, because those 78 threads
Oh, it's
that
fantastic.
Lori's wearing, I mean, those are like spot on.
So I'm so glad because that costume made me think something's going on here. There's something that they're misleading us on in this trailer. It's not just your standard Michael Laurie fight. There's no way she would just be wearing the same outfit she wore in 1978. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So something kind of set off in my brain with that. I'm glad you said that. Real quick, hey, I'm excited because one, I love the Michael Myers character. I love Halloween as a theme for things. Like I think setting a scary movie on Halloween night for whatever reason just feels correct. So I'm a fan of that concept. And Halloween 1978 is my favorite horror movie of all time. I've said that a bunch. So anytime I get Michael Myers on the big screen, I'm very excited, especially James Drew Courtney and his portrayal of that role. He's so good. You guys think he's the best. I'm still going to go Nick Castle just because of that original shape, but I still think that James Drew Courtney's just, I mean, it's like 1A, 1B. It's not even 1-2 anymore. It's 1A, 1B for sure. And like you guys said, I'm a little sentimental about it because this is the last time I think we're going to see Jamie Lee Curtis play Laurie Strode. And when you think about it, that's 45, 44 years of playing the same character. That's unseen. It'll probably never happen again unless we get some kind of Sarah Connor reboot that I see keep being out there. But anyway, you can't take that away from her. She's the original Scream Queen, and she's the original Final Girl, and she's set forward all these tropes. So I'm a big fan of her and that concept. Jesus Christ. So that's funny. But hey, thanks, 5 bags of popcorn. That was a really good comment. Made me laugh. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go sit and watch it in the theater because that's just what I like to do. And this is one of the movies in our dang logo. The original OG logo. This is one of the masks. And so I'm excited that we get to go watch these movies. And I want to leave it on this. I hope as Halloween sets down the baton, one of the other OGs decides to pick it up and run with it. Looking at you, Friday. Looking at you, Nightmare. I need someone in this. Now we have Scream out there, but I'm talking about the original 3 OG slasher villains. I really would like one of them to come along and just pick up the baton from Halloween and make some movies of their own. So this excites me, but I'm also a little sad because I don't know if there will ever be another Halloween movie. So that's another thing. This could be the last Halloween movie that we ever get. And I think I need to put it in that perspective. Now, like Kevin says, the money's always there. I mean, for you wrestling fans that are watching, it's money in the bank. And a movie studio is always going to go grab that briefcase if they want to cash in on another Halloween movie. But outside of that, this is the last one for a very long time, and I'm excited to go see it. Any final thoughts, fellas? I'm going to wrap it up here.
No, and last thing I think we should say is John Carpenter. I mean, hell, he's up there in age. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's coming back to do music. I mean,
yeah, he has. Son-in-law.
Show him his respects. I mean,
absolutely.
Who would have thought that this little low budget horror movie is what it is today? I mean, he didn't see this coming. So
no one did. Yeah.
Big shout out to John Carpenter as well. And I feel like we have to do this for Brian. Go to our website. Don't go out. If you want to listen to James G. Courtney interview, go to don'tgooutthere.com.
Yeah. I was going to say, we have the interview with James Drew Courtney, which I highly recommend. He doesn't give anything away about ends in that trailer, but the way he reacted to us asking about ends made me think something was a little different about this film. If you go back and listen, he seemed very, he's seen the script. Obviously, he hadn't filmed anything yet, but he'd seen the script. And so he looked a little like, there's going to be something different about this movie. So yes, go check out everything at don'tgooutthere.com. We thank everyone that followed along, watched along, tuned in, listened, whatever you were able to do. Again, don'tgooutthere.com. You can find us on any of your podcast formats, all 3 of the big social medias. We're also on YouTube. We're trying to get that channel going. I know Nico pushes that out a lot, so I encourage everyone to share and have, let's get that subscriber number up so we can, I'm just going to be honest. I wouldn't mind making a little bit of money on this YouTube channel. Some advertisement would be nice. So if we could get that number up to where we can make a little money, that would be great. Fellas, I appreciate you all joining me. We spent almost an hour on a damn teaser trailer. That's fresh content. You can't beat it. And I want to remind everybody to don't go out there.